The Intersection Advantage: How Diverse Identities Drive Strategic Leadership and Innovation by Dr. Lalemba Piri. Chapter 1: The Myth of Equal Playing Fields. While everyone talks about breaking glass ceilings, some of us are navigating underground mazes with multiple locked doors. The corporate training room felt like any other: beige walls, fluorescent lighting, and that familiar smell of coffee, mixed with nervous energy. I'd been brought in as a consultant to observe a leadership workshop run by another facilitator. The company was proud of its diversity programming. Today's session: Understanding Barriers to Advancement. The room was a strategic mix: middle managers from the multinational company, seated alongside diverse business owners from their supplier development program. It was 2019. Conversations about workplace barriers were finally becoming part of mainstream corporate discourse. At the front of the room stood the facilitator, a polished consultant with an impressive LinkedIn profile. She greeted the group with practiced enthusiasm.
Let's start with an icebreaker. I want each of you to share one barrier you face in your professional journey. Let's make this real and authentic.
Around the table sat about 20 professionals, a carefully curated group that would make any diversity officer proud. Janice, a white woman in her mid-30s, raised her hand first.
I'm hitting a glass ceiling in my industry. The executive level is still predominantly male, and I feel like I have to work twice as hard to prove myself.
Heads nodded sympathetically. The facilitator smiled. This was exactly the kind of insight the session was designed to elicit. Then Marcus, one of the few black men in the room, spoke next.
I face racial bias in networking. The old white boys club is very real. It's hard to build the relationships that move careers forward when you're often the only black person in the room.
More nodding, the facilitator turned to her flip chart and scribbled two headings: gender bias and racial networking challenge. Then Nandi spoke, a black woman entrepreneur from the supplier development program. She took a breath, thinking about how to compress her reality into a single sound bite that would fit neatly into the facilitator's framework.
I face both of those barriers, plus the assumption that I don't belong in business at all, and my business is automatically seen as inferior before anyone even sees my work.
The room went silent. The facilitator's pen hovered in mid-air. Her framework had neat, clean categories: gender barriers for women, racial barriers for people of color, but Nandi's truth didn't fit.
That's complex. Let's come back to that.
But we never did. As I sat there watching, I felt a familiar ache. I've seen this moment before. I've lived it, in many rooms, in different industries, across different contexts. But this time, I wasn't the one in the hot seat. I was the observer, and watching that moment unfold crystallized a truth I had always known, but had never named so clearly. We are not all playing the same game.